There is a saying that a woman is like a candle, always burning herself to bring light to others. But have we ever stopped to ask, what happens when that candle melts away? A woman's life is full of struggles that often go unnoticed, unseen by the world, but deeply felt by her heart. She wakes up every morning with a list of responsibilities that never seem to end. She carries the weight of expectations, societal pressures, and personal dreams, often sacrificing her own desires for the happiness of those around her. The world sees her smile, her strength, her resilience, but few take the time to notice the silent battles she fights every single day. From the moment she steps into the world, she is conditioned to be strong, yet gentle, ambitious, yet obedient. She is told how she should behave, what she should wear, how she should speak, and even how she should dream. Every step she takes is met with judgment, and every choice she makes is scrutinized. If she chooses to focus on her career, she is told she is selfish. If she prioritizes her family, she is told she lacks ambition. No matter what path she takes, someone, somewhere, will have an opinion on it. She learns to suppress her emotions because she is expected to be the pillar of strength for everyone else. If she expresses her pain, she is labeled weak. If she remains silent, she is assumed to have no struggles at all. No one asks if she is tired. No one wonders if she needs help. She is expected to keep going, no matter how much she is breaking inside. The pressure to be everything for everyone is exhausting, yet she carries it with grace. She is a daughter who must live up to her family's expectations. From a young age, she is told to behave a certain way, to be careful of her actions, because the honor of the family rests on her shoulders. While her male counterparts are given freedom, she is given restrictions. She watches as her dreams are often put on hold, as she is reminded that her ultimate purpose is to be a good wife and a good mother. She is taught that sacrifice is a virtue, and she begins to believe that putting herself last is the right thing to do. As she grows older, she steps into new roles. If she becomes a wife, she carries the responsibility of maintaining a household, balancing relationships, and often compromising her own dreams to fit into the expectations of her new family. She adjusts, she adapts, she gives her all, but often her efforts go unnoticed. If she works late to build a career, she is judged for not giving enough time at home. If she stays at home, she is questioned for not contributing financially. The world constantly reminds her that no matter how much she does, it will never be enough. When she becomes a mother, the struggles multiply. She is expected to be a perfect mother, one who sacrifices everything for her children without complaint. She wakes up in the middle of the night to soothe her crying child, then wakes up early in the morning to prepare for the day ahead. Her body changes, her priorities shift, yet the world does not slow down for her. If she chooses to work, she is judged for leaving her child in someone else's care. If she stays at home, she is told she is wasting her education and potential. No one sees the sleepless nights, the silent tears, the constant self-doubt. Beyond family, she faces challenges in society as well. In workplaces, she has to work twice as hard to prove herself. Her ideas are sometimes ignored, her voice often silenced, and her contributions overlooked. She fights for equal opportunities, yet she is questioned at every step. If she asserts herself, she is called aggressive. If she stays quiet, she is deemed incapable. The world expects her to be confident, but not too confident, strong, but not outspoken. The balance is impossible, yet she continues to navigate it with grace. Even in friendships and social circles, she often hides her struggles. She listens to others, offers support, and spreads positivity, but how often does someone ask her how she truly feels? She smiles not because she is always happy, but because she has mastered the art of masking her pain. She does not want to be a burden to anyone, so she learns to carry her problems alone. Her battles remain silent because the world does not always have space for a woman's struggles. She fights battles that no one sees. The battle of self-worth, where she questions if she is good enough. The battle of self-care, where she forgets to take care of herself while taking care of everyone else. The battle of societal judgment, where she is constantly told who she should be. Yet through all of this, she continues to move forward. She continues to show up, to love, to give, to nurture, to build. She continues to be strong even when she is tired. The world sees the smile on her face, but not the exhaustion behind it. It sees the strength in her actions, but not the pain in her heart. It sees her standing tall, but does not know the number of times she wanted to fall. And yet, despite it all, she rises. Every single day, she rises. Because that is who she is. A woman, a warrior, a survivor. And even in the silence of her struggles, she remains unstoppable. From the moment a woman is born, society places expectations upon her, defining who she should be, how she should act, and what her priorities should be. She is told to be kind yet firm, ambitious yet selfless, independent yet family-oriented. Every stage of her life comes with a new set of demands, and no matter how much she tries, it is never enough. She is expected to excel in every role she plays, from daughter to wife, from mother to professional. Yet rarely does anyone pause to ask if she is tired. As a young girl, she is taught to be gentle, well-mannered, and obedient. If she speaks too loudly, she is told to lower her voice. If she runs too fast, she is reminded to be graceful. She learns early that the world expects her to be accommodating, to adjust, to always think about how her actions reflect on her family. She is told to excel in school, to dream big but not too big, because eventually she must settle down and fulfill her real purpose. As she grows older, the pressure increases. If she focuses on her education and career, she is reminded that time is running out, that she must also think about marriage and starting a family. If she chooses love over career, she is told she wasted her potential. No matter what she does, there will always be someone telling her she made the wrong choice. Society expects her to manage both, excelling in her professional life while also being the perfect partner, daughter-in-law, and later, mother. She must cook, clean, and care for others, all while being successful and looking presentable. The expectations only become heavier when she steps into marriage. She must be the perfect wife, understanding, patient, loving, and always willing to compromise. If there are problems in the relationship, she is expected to be the one to fix them. If she argues, she is told to be more submissive. If she is quiet, she is seen as weak. She must balance her emotions carefully because society has given her the responsibility of keeping relationships intact. If a marriage fails, she is the one questioned. What did she do wrong? Did she not try hard enough? Even if she is the one suffering, the world often tells her to endure for the sake of family, for the sake of children, for the sake of appearances. When she becomes a mother, the expectations multiply. She must love unconditionally, sacrifice without complaint, and put her child's needs before her own at all times. If she chooses to work, she is judged for leaving her child in someone else's care. If she stays at home, she is told she is wasting her potential. No matter what she decides, society finds a way to make her feel guilty. She is expected to raise her children perfectly, ensuring they grow up to be successful, kind, and well-behaved. If a child makes mistakes, the blame often falls on her. She is told she could have done better, that she should have been stricter, or more loving, or more available. Beyond her home, she faces expectations in her professional life. She must work hard, but not too hard, otherwise she will be seen as neglecting her family. She must be confident, but not intimidating, assertive, but not aggressive, dedicated, but not too ambitious. If she succeeds, people wonder if she receives special treatment. If she fails, they assume she could not handle the pressure. The workplace does not always accommodate the additional responsibilities she carries, yet she is expected to keep up, to prove her worth, to never show weakness. Even in friendships and social circles, the expectations never stop. She must be supportive, available, and understanding. She listens to everyone's problems, offers comfort, and spreads positivity. But how often does anyone ask her how she is feeling? She must smile even when she is struggling. She must be strong even when she is breaking inside. The world sees her as someone who always has everything under control, but no one wonders how much effort it takes to maintain that image. The hardest part of it all is that she learns to accept these expectations as normal. She does not complain because she has been taught that this is just the way things are. She does not stop to think about her own needs because she has been conditioned to put others first. She keeps going even when she is exhausted. She fulfills every role, meets every demand, carries every burden, all without being asked if she is okay. She moves through life checking every box society has created for her, yet she is still questioned, still judged, still expected to do more. The truth is, no matter how much she gives, it will never be enough for a world that refuses to acknowledge her exhaustion. And yet, she continues, because that is what she has been taught to do. From the moment a woman is born, she is wrapped in invisible chains. Chains that dictate how she should behave, what she should aspire to, and how she should navigate the world. These chains are not made of metal, yet they are strong enough to hold her back. They are woven from cultural norms, family expectations, and societal traditions, each link forged by generations of beliefs that tell her she must conform. She is taught to fit into a mold designed for her long before she even understands what it means to be herself. These chains do not always appear forceful. Sometimes they come disguised as love, care, and protection. But beneath the surface, they limit her, confine her, and make her believe that stepping beyond them is an act of defiance rather than a right. As a child, she is told what she can and cannot do. She is taught to be soft-spoken, to lower her gaze, to sit properly, and to laugh modestly. She watches as her brother is encouraged to explore the world, to take risks, to dream big. Meanwhile, she is reminded that she must be careful, that her actions reflect on her family, that she must always think before she speaks. Her dreams, no matter how big, are measured against the limits imposed by tradition. If she wants to pursue an unconventional path, she is reminded of her duties. If she dares to question the rules, she is labeled rebellious. As she grows older, the chains tighten. She is told that a woman's greatest achievement is to be a good daughter, a good wife, and a good mother. If she expresses a desire to be independent, she is questioned. Why do you need to work? What will people say? Who will marry you if you are too ambitious? These questions are repeated until she begins to doubt herself, until she starts to believe that her worth is determined not by her dreams, but by how well she serves the roles assigned to her. The family pressures are relentless. Every decision she makes is weighed against what is considered appropriate for a woman. If she wishes to travel alone, she is met with resistance. If she prioritizes her education over marriage, she is reminded that time is running out. If she expresses her opinions too strongly, she is told to be more accommodating. It does not matter how capable she is, there will always be someone telling her that she must adjust, that she must not push too hard, that she must accept the way things are. Marriage, often portrayed as the pinnacle of a woman's life, becomes another chain. She is expected to enter a new home and adapt without question. She must balance relationships, manage responsibilities, and often sacrifice parts of herself to keep the peace. If she prioritizes her career, she is reminded that her family should come first. If she chooses to stay home, she is told she is not contributing enough. She is expected to be the perfect wife, caring, patient, and selfless. If problems arise, she is the one advised to compromise, to be more understanding, to endure. Society rarely questions whether she is happy. It only questions whether she is fulfilling the expectations placed upon her. Motherhood adds another layer of restraint. A mother is expected to be tireless, to give without limits, to put her own needs aside for the well-being of her family. If she takes time for herself, she is seen as selfish. If she struggles, she is told that this is just part of being a woman. She must raise her children flawlessly, maintain her home effortlessly, and continue to meet the standards set for her. The pressure is unrelenting, yet she carries it all with a silent strength, because that is what she has been conditioned to do. Beyond the home, society enforces its own restrictions. In the workplace, she must prove herself repeatedly, often working twice as hard to gain the same recognition as her male counterparts. If she is assertive, she is labeled difficult. If she is reserved, she is overlooked. She fights for opportunities, for equal pay, for respect, all while being reminded that her primary role should still be within the family. If she rises too high, she is criticized. If she chooses a different path, she is questioned. No matter where she turns, the chains remain, restricting her choices, limiting her freedom, making her second guess her own desires. Even in her personal life, she battles expectations. She is told how to dress, how to behave, and even how to think. If she is too bold, she is judged. If she is too reserved, she is dismissed. Every step she takes is weighed against the standards set for her, and if she dares to step outside those lines, she faces criticism, resistance, and sometimes even isolation. Yet despite all of this, she dreams. She dreams of breaking free, of defining her own path, of proving that she is more than the roles assigned to her. She learns to fight back in small ways, by speaking up, by choosing herself, by refusing to accept that she is less than anyone else. The chains that once seemed unbreakable begin to crack when she realizes that she does not have to fit into the mold society has created for her. She does not have to live according to rules that limit her potential. She does not have to apologize for wanting more. The journey is not easy. The world resists change, and breaking free from generations of conditioning is painful. But with every woman who refuses to be silenced, with every voice that demands equality, with every step taken toward independence, the chains begin to loosen. Bit by bit, piece by piece, they fall away. Because no matter how strong the chains of culture, tradition, and expectation may be, they are no match for the strength of a woman who has decided to be free. A woman's life is a story of strength, woven with moments of pain, sacrifice, and silent endurance. From the day she is born, she is taught to adjust, to compromise, to put others before herself. She faces struggles that the world often fails to acknowledge, yet she continues to rise, carrying burdens with quiet grace. Despite the hardships, despite the obstacles placed in her path, she moves forward, proving time and again that her resilience is unbreakable. She learns early that life will not always be fair to her. She grows up watching as different rules apply to her and her male counterparts. She is expected to behave a certain way, to dress a certain way, to speak softly, and to always think before she acts. She is told to be careful, to be cautious, to be mindful of how the world perceives her. Even as a child, she understands that she must work harder to be taken seriously, that her choices will always be questioned, that her freedom will always come with conditions. As she steps into adulthood, the expectations placed upon her multiply. She is told to dream, but not too big. She is encouraged to succeed, but reminded that her true success lies in being a good daughter, a good wife, and a good mother. Every decision she makes is scrutinized. If she pursues a career, she is asked when she will settle down. If she chooses marriage, she is told to ensure she does not lose herself in the process. If she remains single, she is met with endless questions about why she has not yet conformed to society's expectations. No matter what she does, there is always someone waiting to tell her that she is not enough or that she is too much. She carries the weight of responsibilities that often go unnoticed. She is the silent force that holds families together, the one who nurtures without expecting anything in return. She is expected to be strong for everyone, yet rarely does anyone stop to ask if she is tired. She listens to the worries of others, offers comfort, and stands as a pillar of support, yet she battles her own struggles in silence. Even in moments of personal pain, she continues to show up, because that is what she has been taught to do. Life does not always give her a choice. Sometimes she is forced to endure heartbreak, loss, or betrayal. Sometimes she is left standing alone, picking up the pieces of dreams that were shattered by circumstances beyond her control. She experiences rejection, disappointment, and moments of deep self-doubt. She questions whether she is strong enough to continue, whether she is capable of rising from yet another setback. And yet, she does. She wipes away her tears, straightens her shoulders, and steps forward once again, because no matter how many times she falls, she refuses to stay down. The world may try to silence her, but her strength lies in her ability to keep going despite it all. She does not always receive the appreciation she deserves. She is often overlooked, underestimated, and taken for granted. Yet she does not seek validation. She simply continues to give, to love, to fight, to build. She does not allow her hardships to define her. Instead, she uses them as fuel to grow stronger. Every challenge she faces becomes a lesson, every setback a stepping stone, every hardship a reminder that she is capable of withstanding anything. She fights battles that no one sees. She struggles with the weight of expectations, the pressure to be perfect, the need to balance countless roles without showing weakness. She questions herself, wondering if she is doing enough, if she is enough. Yet deep inside, she carries a strength that cannot be measured. It is in the way she gets up after being knocked down, in the way she loves fiercely even when she has been hurt, in the way she continues to give even when she has nothing left. Her resilience is not just in the big moments of overcoming hardships. It is in the small, everyday acts of courage. It is in waking up each morning and facing a world that often tries to diminish her. It is in choosing to be kind when life has not been kind to her. It is in chasing her dreams despite being told she cannot. It is in standing up for herself when her voice is not welcomed. It is in believing in herself when no one else does. She does not let her struggles define her. She lets them strengthen her. She turns pain into power, loss into lessons, and fear into fuel. She understands that life will not always be easy, but she refuses to let difficulty break her spirit. She knows that storms will come, but she also knows that she has the strength to withstand them. The world may not always recognize her battles, but she does not fight for recognition. She fights because she must. She fights because giving up is not an option. She fights because she knows that her strength is not just for herself, but for every other woman who looks at her and sees the possibility of overcoming. No matter how heavy the burden, no matter how difficult the path, she continues to rise. She is not defined by her struggles, but by her ability to overcome them. She is proof that strength is not about never falling. It is about always rising. And rise she does. A woman's every action is placed under a microscope, examined, judged, and often misinterpreted. No matter what she does, the world finds a way to criticize her. If she speaks her mind, she is called too bold, too aggressive, or too opinionated. If she chooses silence, she is dismissed as weak, incapable, or lacking confidence. The contradictions are endless, the expectations unrealistic, and yet she is expected to navigate this impossible balance every single day. From childhood, she is conditioned to believe that her words carry weight, not because of their value, but because of how they might be perceived. She is told to be polite, to be soft-spoken, to avoid conflict. She learns early that raising her voice can bring trouble, that questioning authority is not welcomed, that having strong opinions can make her unlikable. But at the same time, she is told that confidence is attractive, that she should stand up for herself, that she should not let the world walk over her. These mixed messages create confusion. How does she balance being strong but not too strong, confident but not intimidating, firm but not unlikable? As she grows older, the judgment intensifies. If she asserts herself in a conversation, she is told she is too loud, too demanding, too difficult to handle. If she stands up for her rights, she is labeled rebellious. If she calls out injustice, she is accused of overreacting. Yet when she chooses to stay quiet, to avoid confrontation, she is seen as weak. People assume she has nothing valuable to say or that she lacks the courage to stand up for herself. The same society that criticizes her for speaking too much will also question why she does not speak at all. In the workplace, these judgments follow her. If she is ambitious, she is accused of being ruthless, of stepping over others to climb the ladder. If she is hesitant or careful, she is deemed not strong enough for leadership. If she takes charge in meetings, she is seen as too dominant, too controlling. But if she waits for her turn, if she lets others speak first, she is seen as lacking confidence. Her skills, intelligence, and contributions are often overshadowed by how people perceive her demeanor. In her personal life, the contradictions continue. If she chooses to prioritize her career, she is told she is neglecting her family, that she is not fulfilling her true role as a woman. If she chooses to stay at home, she is judged for not being independent enough, for not using her education, for not having bigger ambitions. If she gets married early, people say she settled too soon. If she marries later in life, people wonder what was wrong with her. If she chooses to remain single, she is questioned endlessly, as if a woman's life is incomplete without a husband. Even in relationships, she cannot escape the unfair judgments. If she expresses her needs and emotions, she is called needy, demanding, or overly sensitive. If she chooses to suppress her feelings to avoid conflict, she is blamed for not communicating. If she demands respect, she is told she has an attitude. If she tolerates mistreatment, she is told it is her own fault for not setting boundaries. No matter what she does, there will always be someone ready to tell her that she is doing it wrong. Her physical appearance is not spared from judgment either. If she dresses modestly, she is seen as too conservative, too outdated. If she dresses boldly, she is accused of seeking attention. If she wears makeup, she is criticized for being fake. If she does not, she is told she does not make an effort. Her body, her face, her choices, everything is up for discussion, yet she is expected to act as if the judgments do not affect her. The double standards are suffocating. A man who is assertive is seen as confident, but a woman who does the same is labeled difficult. A man who prioritizes his career is admired, but a woman who does the same is judged for neglecting her responsibilities. A man who speaks his mind is respected, but a woman who speaks up is often silenced. She fights these battles every single day, trying to prove herself in a world that constantly questions her. She is exhausted by the need to explain herself, to justify her choices, to fit into expectations that are impossible to meet. Yet she continues. She speaks even when they try to silence her. She stands her ground even when they tell her to step back. She refuses to be boxed in by the world's unfair judgments. She knows that no matter what she does, there will always be someone ready to criticize her. But she also knows that her worth is not determined by the opinions of others. It is determined by the strength she carries within, by the resilience that allows her to rise above the noise, by the courage that keeps her moving forward despite the constant scrutiny. She does not exist to please everyone. She does not have to shrink herself to fit into society's expectations, whether she speaks or stays silent, whether she leads or follows, whether she conforms or rebels. She remains powerful in her own right. And that is something no amount of judgment can take away from her. A woman's heart is full of dreams. Dreams as vast as the sky, as limitless as the ocean. She grows up with ideas, with ambitions, with a hunger to achieve something meaningful. As a child, she is encouraged to dream, to believe that she can be anything she wants to be. But as she grows older, reality begins to whisper in her ear, reminding her that the world does not always welcome a woman's dreams. What once felt possible now seems distant, as if the path ahead is filled with barriers that were never placed before her male counterparts. She dreams of becoming a leader, but she is told that leadership is a man's world. She dreams of adventure, but she is reminded to stay within the boundaries set for her. She dreams of financial independence, but she is warned that too much ambition might make her less desirable. Every step forward is met with questions, doubts, and limitations imposed by others. The world, which once told her to dream big, now tells her to adjust those dreams, to make them smaller, more practical, more appropriate for a woman. From a young age, she notices the difference in how dreams are nurtured. A boy is encouraged to take risks, to explore, to build, to innovate. A girl is often reminded to be careful, to be responsible, to think about her family's expectations. If she wants to become an artist, she is asked how she will balance it with marriage. If she wants to become a scientist, she is told that she will have to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. If she wants to be an entrepreneur, she is warned that it is a difficult path, that she should consider something more stable. The moment she begins to express her aspirations, the world finds a way to make her question them. When she pushes forward despite the discouragement, she is met with resistance. If she works long hours, she is criticized for neglecting her family. If she postpones marriage to pursue her career, she is reminded that time is slipping away. If she reaches a position of power, she is labeled difficult, ruthless, or too ambitious. No matter how much she achieves, there is always someone telling her that she is missing out on something else, as if she must choose between her dreams and the life expected of her. Even when she proves her capabilities, she is often met with skepticism. If she succeeds, people assume she had help. If she struggles, they see it as proof that she was never meant for this path. The world does not make space for her easily. She has to fight for it, to carve her own way, to break through walls that were never placed in front of others. And yet she refuses to give up. Her reality is filled with sacrifices that no one sees. She fights battles not just in the outside world, but within her own home, within her own mind. She struggles with self-doubt, with moments of questioning whether she is asking for too much. She faces criticism from those who do not understand her journey, who believe that a woman's primary role is to support others, not to chase dreams of her own. But she continues because she knows that giving up means letting the world define her limits. She learns to carry her dreams in secret, to nurture them quietly, to fight for them even when no one else believes in them. She takes small steps, knowing that each one is an act of defiance against a world that tries to hold her back. She finds strength in her own determination, in the knowledge that every great change begins with someone who refuses to accept things as they are. The road is not easy. There will always be people who doubt her, who try to shrink her vision, who tell her that she is reaching too high. But she also knows that no dream is too big if she has the courage to pursue it. She is not just fighting for herself. She is paving the way for the women who will come after her, for the young girls who look up to her and dare to dream because they see her trying. She understands that reality will always try to pull her back, but she also knows that dreams are not meant to be caged. She may face obstacles, but she will find a way around them. She may hear 1,000 voices telling her she cannot, but she will listen to the one inside her that says she can. And with that strength, she will continue to dream, continue to fight, and continue to prove that no dream is too big for a woman who refuses to give up. A woman's journey is often filled with moments where she is made to question her worth. From an early age, she is taught to seek validation from the world around her, through approval, through acceptance, through the roles she plays in the lives of others. She is told that her value comes from how well she nurtures, how much she sacrifices, how effortlessly she fits into the expectations placed upon her. But what happens when the world refuses to acknowledge her worth? What happens when no one stops to appreciate her efforts? When her contributions go unnoticed, when she is taken for granted? It is in these moments that she must remind herself of an unshakable truth. Her worth is not determined by the opinions of others. It is something she carries within her, something no one can take away. She must learn to see herself beyond the labels the world gives her. She is not just a daughter, a wife, a mother, or a worker. She is a person with dreams, with ambitions, with a soul that deserves recognition. Her existence is not defined by how much she can give to others. She is valuable simply because she is, but society has conditioned her to believe that she must constantly prove herself. If she works hard, she is told it is expected of her. If she sacrifices her happiness for others, she is praised for being selfless. If she chooses to prioritize herself, she is criticized for being selfish. No matter what she does, there will always be those who try to diminish her, to make her feel as though she is not enough. But she must not let the world dictate her worth. She must recognize it for herself. The world often measures a woman's value by superficial standards. If she is beautiful, she is admired. If she is intelligent, she is questioned. If she is successful, she is met with resentment. If she is soft-spoken, she is overlooked. If she is bold, she is called too much. There is no winning in a world that constantly constantly shifts its expectations, that refuses to acknowledge her for who she truly is. This is why she must find her strength from within, not from external validation. She must remind herself that she is more than how others perceive her. Her value is not dependent on their approval. It is something that exists within her, unshaken by judgment or criticism. She has spent years carrying the weight of expectations, of trying to be enough for everyone around her. She has learned to ignore her own needs, to prioritize others, to be the one who holds everything together. But in the process, she has often forgotten herself. She has overlooked her own dreams, silenced her own voice, and convinced herself that her happiness can wait. But why should it? Why should she put herself last when she is just as deserving of love, of respect, of fulfillment? She must remind herself that she is worthy, not because of what she does for others, but simply because she exists. There will be days when the world makes her feel invisible, days when her hard work is ignored, when her kindness is taken advantage of, when she feels like she is giving and giving but receiving nothing in return. There will be moments when she wonders if she is truly seen, if anyone values all that she does. But in those moments, she must look in the mirror and remind herself that she is enough. She does not need the world to validate her existence. She is already whole, already worthy, already powerful. The most important lesson she must learn is that her worth is not something that can be given or taken away. It is not determined by how much she achieves, by how much she sacrifices, or by how well she fits into expectations. Her worth is inherent. She is strong, she is capable, she is deserving of everything she dreams of. And the moment she stops seeking validation from others, the moment she embraces her own value, she becomes unstoppable. She must walk with confidence, knowing that she is more than enough. She must refuse to let the world diminish her, to make her feel small, to convince her that she must prove herself again and again. She must set boundaries, knowing that she does not have to give endlessly to be worthy. She must pursue her dreams, knowing that she is just as capable as anyone else. She must love herself, knowing that she is deserving of love, not because of what she does, but because of who she is. Her worth is her power. It is what allows her to rise after every fall, to keep going even when the world refuses to see her. It is what makes her unbreakable, unstoppable, and undeniably strong. No matter what the world says, no matter how much it tries to make her question herself, she must hold on to this truth. She is valuable, she is powerful, and she is enough. A woman's existence should not be a constant battle for respect, for equality, for the simple appreciation that every human being deserves. And yet, she finds herself fighting against deeply rooted biases, against unfair treatment, against a world that often refuses to acknowledge her worth. She is told that things have changed, that society has progressed, that women today have more freedom and opportunities than ever before. But does opportunity mean equality? Does progress mean fairness? Because despite all that has changed, a woman still has to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. She still has to prove herself in ways that men never have to. She still has to demand the respect that should have been hers without question. Respect should not be something a woman has to earn. It should be a given. Yet, in many parts of the world, a woman's voice is still silenced. She is told what to wear, how to behave, where she can and cannot go. She is made to feel unsafe in her own home, in her workplace, in public spaces. She is judged for her choices, criticized for her independence, shamed for her confidence. If she is strong, people try to break her. If she is kind, people take her for granted. If she refuses to conform, she is labeled difficult. But she does not ask for much, only for the same respect that is so easily given to others. Equality is not just a word, it is a fundamental right. A woman should not have to choose between her career and her family. She should not have to accept lower wages for the same work. She should not have to fear for her safety when she steps outside. She should not have to shrink herself to make others comfortable. But even in modern society, she still faces barriers that men do not. In the workplace, she is overlooked for leadership positions, questioned more harshly than her male colleagues, and expected to prove her competence again and again. In her personal life, she is pressured pressured to be the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect mother, while a man is rarely held to the same impossible standards. The world talks about gender equality, but true equality will only exist when a woman no longer has to justify her place in society. A woman's contributions deserve appreciation. She is the foundation of families, the backbone of communities, the driving force behind change. She raises children, builds businesses, leads movements, and nurtures the people around her. Yet too often, her work is overlooked, treated as an expectation rather than an achievement. If she stays at home to care for her family, her efforts are seen as ordinary. If she works outside the home, she is made to feel guilty for not being present enough. No matter what she does, it is never enough in the eyes of a world that demands too much from her and gives too little in return. Change is not just necessary, it is long overdue. A world that respects women, that values their voices, that acknowledges their worth, is a world that thrives. A woman should not have to fight for basic dignity. She should not have to remind others that she is just as capable, just as intelligent, just as deserving of opportunities as anyone else. She should be able to live in a world where she is safe, where she is seen, where she is celebrated for who she is, not just for what she can do for others. The responsibility for change does not lie with women alone. It is a collective effort. It requires a shift in mindset, a rejection of outdated norms, an active commitment to fairness. It requires men to stand alongside women, not as protectors or saviors, but as equals who recognize and respect their struggles. It requires institutions to break down the barriers that have held women back for far too long. It requires society to stop telling women what they cannot do and start supporting them in what they can. A woman's worth is not up for debate. She deserves respect, not as a favor, but as a right. She deserves equality, not in theory, but in action. She deserves appreciation, not only for what she gives, but for who she is. The time for waiting is over. The time for change is now. To every woman listening, your struggles do not define you, your strength does. Never let the world tell you that you are less than you are. Stand tall, speak up, and never be afraid to claim your space in this world. Because you are not just a woman, you are a force, a revolution, a change that the world desperately needs. Thank you.